Okay. 5:30.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Ottumwa City Council meeting. It's 5:30, so I'm going to call our meeting to order. And if everybody rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway.
Here.
Councilmember Hoffman.
Here.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Here.
Councilmember Cavanis.
Here.
Councilmember Reed.
Here.
Mayor Johnson.
Here. The next item is to approve part one of the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask that number 4 be pulled for a separate vote.
I'd agree with that.
Okay.
Okay, so you're wanting to pull item number 4 to have a separate vote?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. We'll take a vote on that. Does everybody know that what we're voting on right now? Yeah.
Yeah. Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway.
No.
Councilmember Hoffman.
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanis.
Yes.
Councilmember Reed.
Yes.
So 4-1. So do you guys want to do item I4 or B4 first, or do you want to approve the other items first?
Can we have a discussion on why we're wanting to do that?
We will when we pull it, when we talk about it.
Okay.
So you want to do that one
Yeah,
first?
let's just get it over with.
Okay,
Good
so
level.
I'll read it before we discuss it. Recommend appointment of Hector Hernandez Morales to the Airport Advisory Board, term to expire 10/1/2029. Appointment of Hector Hernandez Morales to the Inspection Board of Review, term to expire 1/18/2028. And reappointment of Ryan Mitchell to the Zoning Board of Adjustment, term to expire 12/12/2030.
Since I was the person that asked to pull that, I would like to say that I think it's appropriate for our new mayor incoming to have some opportunities to appoint people to boards. And this looks like it pretty well is filling up those appointments. So I object to that.
And I don't have any concern about Hector or the other Ryan there, but it's just same thought that maybe the new mayor should have a hand in selecting people for the different boards.
I would just identify that the new mayor starts in January, and we still have a mayor right now. So I would say that we allow our current mayor to make the selections.
Any other comments from council?
Do you want me, I know that both of these their terms expire before January, which is why they were appointed at this meeting.
Correct.
So that's really the only reason they're on there, because we were trying to get all the boards that expire in December appointed before the end of the year.
Is there any further discussion? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Hang on.
And just so I'm clear, I'm just asking, is the issue the new incoming mayor, or is it one of the people? I just want a clarification.
The issue is, in my opinion at least, is that the new incoming mayor should have an opportunity to make some appointments, irregardless of who they are, to the new city ordinances. And I think this just kind of takes that away from him.
The new mayor is going to be the one that works with these people, for quite a while, is the thought to me.
The only other thing that I would say is there's going to be several people coming due in 2026 that the new mayor will be able to reappoint or find new people if they don't want to be reappointed. There's going to be several people during 2026 on the various boards and commissions that'll be up for either reappointment or find new people. I just wanted to clarify that for everybody. The new mayor is going to have plenty of chances to appoint people over the next 4 years. So is there any further discussion? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Will the vote be for yes or no? to
It will be
Fullers?
to recommend appointment, as the item is stated.
Now I'm confused.
So we already pulled it, so we're recommending, now we're doing what it says. So if you vote yes, you recommend to appoint. If you vote no, then you don't want them appointed.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre,
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness,
No,
Councilmember Reed.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1. Now we're going to vote on the rest of the consent agenda.
Items 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre,
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness,
yes,
and Councilmember Reed.
Yes.
Okay, the next item is to approve Part 2 consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre,
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness,
yes,
Councilmember Reed.
No.
The next item is to approve our agenda for tonight's city council meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre,
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness,
yes,
Councilmember Reed.
Yes.
The next item is the city administrator's report to council and the citizens of Ottumwa. So I'll turn it over to Phil Rath, our city administrator.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving and were able to get time with family and friends. And looking ahead, as I guess Friday night, Saturday indicated, and yesterday, we may be in for a busy snow year this year. So thank you to the Public Works staff that was out clearing roads over the weekend, and just ask the public to be patient as we go through this year. They are working hard to keep the roads clear, and just want to give them a little shout out for the work they've done so far and continuing into this next snow season. And that is all I have tonight.
Administrator Rath, I just have a quick question. If we want to find information out about like snow emergencies or if buildings or things will be closed because of snow, where would we find that information?
That is posted on our website. Our public information officer puts out press releases, and news releases are right on the front homepage of our screen. And do we have it where you can sign up for alerts yet? Yeah, and so you can get subscribed to an email list that when those go out, they'll be sent directly to you as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, the next item is to identify citizens who'd like to speak on any of our agenda items tonight. We do have 2 individuals that have already indicated that they'd like to speak, and I'll call on them when we get to those agenda items. But is there anybody else besides the 2 individuals that filled out their sheet of paper? Okay. The next is a public hearing. We have a public hearing today.
This is the time, place, and date set for a public hearing on the proposed vacation of part of the alley located east of Court Street and south of Park Avenue in the city of Ottumwa, Wapello County, Iowa.
I'll go ahead and open the public hearing, and I believe Gene Ratchey, our Parks Director, is going to handle this.
Thank you, Your Honor. Vacation of this alley is necessary because the city plans to sell the adjacent property, 1218 North Court, and one of the buildings on the property encroaches on the alley. The city vacated this alley by resolution in February of 2007 because the Iowa Code requires streets to be vacated by ordinance. It is necessary to repeat the vacation process using an ordinance so that a clean title can be conveyed to whoever purchases 1218 North Court. The city is required to hold a public hearing prior to approving the first reading of the ordinance. The supporting documentation is attached.
Does council have any questions for Gene?
Hey, Gene, my next door neighbor, the other side of his property is right before that alley. He just wanted me to ask, is it going to affect his property at all?
No, it won't, because there's still several feet of open space between that cemetery building and his property line. And as I said, that alley was already vacated by resolution back in 2007. We're just doing this by ordinance.
Right. No, I understood it, but he just wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to end up on his property.
It will not affect his property at all.
Okay. Thanks, Gene.
So is that alley used by anybody? Just,
It's not even an alley anymore.
No, it's just a
Okay.
paper alley. It leads down to a wooded ravine. There are no vehicles that could possibly drive through it. It's just a right of way on paper.
Any other questions for Gene? If not, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Or is there anyone in the audience?
Oh,
It's a
yes.
Public hearing.
Since this is a public hearing, I'm sorry. Does anyone in the audience have any comments that they'd like to make regarding this topic? Okay. If not, I would go ahead and entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
second?
Chris will go ahead and take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes. Councilmember
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness?
Yes.
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Ordinance number 3251, 2025, an ordinance vacating a part of the alley located east of Court Street and south of Park Avenue in the city of Ottumwa, Wapello County, Iowa. Recommendation passed the first consideration of ordinance number 3251, 2025.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness?
Yes.
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Waive the second and third considerations, pass and adopt ordinance number 3251, 2025.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
Move the recommendation.
Second.
Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness?
Yes.
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Okay, we have no ordinances this evening, so we'll move to departmental board or commission recommendations and reports. And I believe Philip Bergmeyer, our Public Works Director, is going to be handling this.
Authorize the city attorney to file an interpleader action to address a dispute between J&K Contracting LLC and Funding Futures LLC related to Pay App number 20 for the Blake's Branch Sewer Separation Phase 8 Division 2 project. Recommendation: approve filing of interpleader action.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, Philip.
All right, thank you, Mayor. So the city has received documentation from Funding Futures LLC alleging a right to payments to J&K Contracting LLC. J&K Contracting LLC disputes Funding Futures allegations. So to avoid paying the wrong party in this matter, potentially being doubly liable for payments, the attorneys recommended the city file an interpleader action in Iowa District Court, which would allow the court to resolve the dispute related to the payment. The city of Johnston has received a similar notice from Funding Futures, and the two cities will share the cost of the interpleader action. So if we pay the wrong person, we'll owe that same money to the second party. If we don't pay anybody, we'll owe interest to whoever we pay. So by depositing this money with the court, it fulfills our obligation to pay the money, and then the two parties that dispute it can go to court and figure out who it's owed to. So,
Council, have any questions for Philip?
So it doesn't cost the city. We're paying for a project that was worked on and done.
yeah,
And it's just putting the money in the court's hands to decide who properly should have that money.
correct. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments from council? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness?
Yes.
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is resolutions, and we have 11 of them this evening.
Resolution number 196, 2025, transferring ownership of the property located at 1218 North Court from the Ottumwa Cemetery Board of Trustees to the city of Ottumwa. Recommendation: pass and adopt resolution number 196, 2025.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
Motion to approve?
Second.
And Gene Ratchie, our Parks Director, I believe, is going to handle this.
Thank you, Mayor Johnson. The new cemetery office and maintenance building will be completed by December 31st, 2025. In the spring of 2026, the house and 2 maintenance buildings located at 1218 North Court will be sold. The city attorney has indicated that ownership of the 1218 North Court needs to be transferred from the Ottumwa Cemetery Board of Trustees to the city of Ottumwa before the property can be sold. This transfer of property was approved by the Ottumwa Cemetery Board of Trustees at their meeting on November 19th, 2025.
Does council have any questions for Gene?
Do we have someone living in that house now, rented or otherwise?
No, they moved out about a month and a half ago, and we've been cleaning it and doing other things, making some repairs and so on.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from council?
So this is just a legal thing to move it from the cemetery to the city so the city can sell it properly.
Right. The house was originally purchased by the Cemetery Board of Trustees in, I believe, 1979, when the cemetery used to be semi-autonomous from the city. Now they're not. Now they're more functioning as an advisory board. So this is a technicality that we need to do before we can sell the house.
If there's no other comments or questions for Gene, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness?
Yes,
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Resolution number 205, 2025, approving the relocation of the historic National Humane Alliance fountain from Bollingal Park to a site near the front entrance of the Bridgeview Center. Recommendation: pass and adopt resolution number 205, 2025.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
Motion to approve?
Second.
And I believe Phil Rath, our city administrator, is going to handle this.
At the November 18th meeting of the City Council, a request was made by Dennis Wilhoit, who's representing the Wapello County Historical Society. Request was to allow for the relocation of the historic fountain from its current location at Bollingal Park to the desired site near the entrance of the Bridgeview Center. The relocation request is a coordinated effort between Wapello County Historical Society and Bridgeview Center, Inc. The entities plan to assess the condition of the fountain, explore the possibility of restoring its original running water feature or function, determine the relocation costs, raise funds necessary for the move, and oversee the relocation, and then finally create a new interpretive signage to provide information of the history. The historic fountain, known as the Horse Trough, was moved to its current location following action by the City Council at its meeting on February 7th, 1989. At that time, City Council approved the relocation following a recommendation from the Plan Commission. There's nothing prompting a need to move the historic piece other than the request from the interested parties, with the request to include the provision of funds and oversight of the relocation. It's not anticipated to cost the city any public dollars should the City Council desire to approve the stated request.
We have Dennis Wilhoit that would like to speak on this. So Dennis, do you want to come on up at this time?
Hi, Dennis Wilhoit, 334 East 5th Street. Just a couple clarifications because it seems that this project has been plagued with lack of communication, miscommunication more than once. So let's just clarify a few things because I know that I've heard that some people are concerned that it's the fountain in the park that is part of Bollingal Park and is a contributing element to the historic railroad district. It is not that fountain. It is the horse fountain, as I clarified last time. Also, we've had communication issues on how to get started. This started, and then as I said, I do not speak for Bridgeview Inc., but we are collaborating with Bridgeview Inc. So I don't know all of the details getting it to where it is now, but city staff was contacted. They knew about this, requesting to move the horse fountain to the entrance of Bridgeview so that it could have more exposure and have some restoration work done. And I went as far as, Bridgeview Inc. paid the city to pour the slab of the concrete pad. And then as we were updating last week, I found out that then there needs to be a resolution. It seems to me that upper management in the city needs to be able to direct good people through the proper channels in order to do volunteer work. Because I remind you that this committee, Connie Ferguson, Ted Haas, Diane Haas, they have contributed unlimited amounts of volunteer time to the Bridgeview campus. That entire planting, the border along the river that goes on forever with the little sculpture piece there as well, and some other information, that was done entirely by them. That's not city staff that's doing that, that's them. And they maintain it, as well as Ted Haas, out on his knees with his pads on, caulking where those the dedication bricks are. They oversaw that entire Eagle project on the corner, the landscaping, the Eagle itself. They have worked with Scott to place stones so that people aren't driving through, after the new parking lot, people aren't driving over curbs and through the yards to exit the facility as they did when it was a gravel lot. So volunteers, when they're doing something good, they need cooperation and they need communication. And so when something is presented and it appears to be that it's happening because they paid a bill for the concrete and the city charged them, that someone is able to recommend where to go and the proper channels, and that it needs to go to the council in this situation. And beyond that, I think the council should know that it's an historic asset. And it seems to, and some of those fountains in the country of the 70 that are left, some of them are on the National Register of Historic Places. It seems like you should take this to the Historic Preservation Commission. I know that Kara offered, asked about the fountain and the contributing factor with the railroad district, but I think that this needs to go to the Historic Preservation Commission so that they can be part of this. You have a commission of 5 members that you ask to volunteer for meetings every month, and then you ignore them. And I speak personally from that because I too was once on that commission, and so many projects we had to run behind and say, we have ownership of that as a commission to review this. And I think that you need to take it to the Historic Preservation Commission and do that. And figure out what your protocol is so that these things do not happen. I have not had the time to read the minutes, so I don't know if it's recorded this way in the minutes, but I was shown when I got here that it says that the Wapello County Foundation or the Wapello County Historical Society, Iowa Heartland History Connection is doing the fundraising. It is not that organization. It's the ad hoc committee of Ted Haas, Diane, Connie, myself, and now we have board members from the museum who are helping, who have expertise in the restoration of the fountain, will help evaluate it. We will all work together and cooperatively as a committee, and we are committed to raising that money. I imagine that Bridgeview Inc., like the other projects at Bridgeview, will be the fiscal agent, but no one entity is raising money for that. And I want to make sure that we understand that the Iowa Heartland History Connection specifically, and as I said, I am the vice president, that we continue to operate without any county funds, without any city funds. And so to confuse this, that we are undertaking a fundraising effort that puts at risk any other fundraising effort that we do, because too many fundraising efforts at one time is not a wise decision. So tonight I would actually encourage you to table this resolution and go back and figure out your process of communication and communicate with people and take it to the Historic Preservation so that they have an opportunity to respond to this as well, because they have, and we were talking about commissions earlier, they have that responsibility, and to overlook them is not the way the protocol is supposed to go. I thank you for your time tonight.
Does council have any questions or comments?
Yeah, what are we going to do with this?
I would say we table it because we do want to make sure that our resolution is correct in who is looking for, or, with the funds and stuff too. And I would agree with Mr. Wilhoit about bringing it to the Historic Preservation Committee. And I also liked his suggestion and push for ensuring that we do have a proper channel for communication in this matter, especially with the historic preservation. So if we know something has the ability to be on the registry or has historic significance, we should be running it through them. So I would motion to table.
Do we have a second?
Second.
So the motion is to table item 2, resolution number 205, 2025. Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness?
Yes,
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
thank you, Dennis, for your expertise and explanation.
Resolution number 207, 2025, confirming award of the Destination Iowa grant related to the construction of the Market Street Landing Inclusive Play Space project. Recommendation: pass and adopt resolution number 207, 2025.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Phil, I believe you're going to handle this one. Yes, Honorable Mayor. On May 20th, 2025, City Council approved Resolution 94-2025, which authorized the city to join the Tenco Foundation in partnership with Legacy Foundation and First Resources Corporation as a co-applicant for the Destination Iowa grant to construct an inclusive play space upon the area to be known as the Market Street Landing. This grant was awarded, but could not find where it was accepted by the city. The attached resolution accomplishes this and provides authorization to sign off recognizing that acceptance.
Does council have any questions for Phil?
Is this project complete?
No, it's there was fundraising going on. I believe they've just started the construction, but we did receive, or we're in the process of receiving the funding to be able to go towards that. A good portion that was coming from the governor's award of the Destination Iowa grant.
And at one time you and I talked about lighting for that sign. Is it still in the process?
I think you're referring to the Market Street Landing signage, and
Yes.
I believe that is illuminated. This is the inclusive play space, which would be to the east of that area, east of the Rotary Gardens.
Okay,
And that project, I think, has to be done by July 1st, right? 2026.
Right, because the Destination Iowa funds are tied to part of the ARPA funding, which needs to be spent and taken care of before the end of the fiscal year.
Any other questions for Phil? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness?
yes,
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Resolution number 208, 2025, approving the schedule of rental rates at the Ottumwa Regional Airport effective January 1, 2026. Recommendation: pass and adopt resolution number 208, 2025.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, and JD Wheaton, our airport operations manager, is going to handle this.
All right, thank you, Mayor and Council. The current rental rates at the Ottumwa Airport have been in place since March 1st, 2021, when the city of Ottumwa took over the FBO services from Archangel. Due to the increase in operational expenses, and we need to increase these rates, and the Airport Advisory Board did approve these rates. The only comments that they did have during our meeting was that they felt maybe we should have increased them a little farther, but for this time, this is all we're going to do. But I did supply you with the rates on there. Some of them did have a little clarification. It said per hour, and it should have been per month on 3 of the items for the hangar rents.
That's corrected.
And there was one misspelling, Mr. Reed, correct. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
we forgive Chris for,
My secretary helped me out on this one, and we had a little issue.
Everybody makes mistakes, right?
That's right.
Not you.
Any questions for JD?
Not a question, but just a comment. For instance, the box hangers, those 3 box hangers that are there are, okay, so the rate's going up to 175.
165.
It says 175.
I believe
Whichever.
my secretary might change that on me too. Maybe I did turn it to 175, but
What?
So should it be 165?
yes.
Okay, my comment though is that if those box hangers were at Iowa City or Des Moines or someplace, they'd probably be 400, 450.
Exactly. So here we
So
got it. We got
we're-
another comment from a tenant that says, that we're still cheaper than
That's right.
the average cost. I mean, that's like our labor rate. We raised it from 85 to $100 an hour. It costs you more to get your car worked on that you can pull over to the side of the road and call a tow truck than it does to keep an airplane in the sky per hour. So
So just to clarify, the hangar rates on each of those was raising $15.
yes,
Okay, so that would be,
those are raising
Consistent.
15 apiece. The hourly rate's up 15 and the aircraft rental rate is up $10 an hour. If you just owned an aircraft and you wanted to insure a Cherokee 180, let's say, and just for your own personal use, it's about almost $900 a year. It's a little over $9,000 a year to rent that aircraft out as a rental aircraft for training.
So all these rates are very reasonable for sure.
Yes. Like I said, I haven't had any complaints out of anybody that's seen or noticed that we were going to raise them. And I believe we were the same rate that Archangel was for 5 years prior to that. So
Right.
And they hadn't been increased since 2021,
not
correct?
since the city took over the FBO operations.
So, any other questions for JD from council? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
He's gone.
Oh, he left. Oh, sorry, I didn't see I stepped out. Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanagh?
Yes.
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Resolution number 209, 2025, approving a change to the authorized headcount for Department 297 Public Works Building. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 209, 2025.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
Motion to approve.
Second.
And Barb Kojo, sorry, our HR director is going to handle this.
Thank you, sir. So currently in Department 297, which is our Public Works building, we have one full-time custodian/utility worker position. Due to a recent retirement and then internal employee transfers, the position is now vacant. And so we did a departmental review and different needs and staffing structure. And it was recommended that we change this position, reclassify it to a full-time equipment operator. It changed better aligns with different operational demands that they've got and resources that are needed within the department. There are some efficiencies that would be gained by changing this position. It would give the potential of having an additional person out there pushing snow. We would not have to call equipment operators back to the Public Works garage if there are deliveries that happen during the day. So again, you're not pulling two people off of a project just for one person to be able to do that. So the request would be to take that position and just reclassify it as an equipment operator, which is what most of the other positions down at the garage are. There would be an additional cost for this. It's about $2,500 per year to make that change. But given all the efficiencies that we gain talking with Public Works Department, the Finance Department director, that this is well worth that.
So there is a pay raise with that title change, but
Correct.
more efficient, they can do more things.
Correct.
Any other questions for Barb from council?
This person be willing to be a custodian as well?
That's going to be part of the job duties. So within our job descriptions right now, what we have is that if they're assigned to a certain department, there may be different duties that they have to do. And so based on the updated job description that the department had provided to us, is that if you are assigned to Department 297, you would be responsible for those custodial duties as well.
Okay, thank you.
So we're looking to add 25, about a little more than 2,500. So, and you're talking about efficiencies, but where is that 2,500 coming from?
So projects could be getting done quicker at the garage itself. It could be, Philip, I don't know if you've got specifics that you could give. But that's going to be the big thing, is that we would have, whether it's snow routes that get finished quicker, we don't have to pull two people off of a job because they need to come back to the garage to unload a truck. So therefore it delays a project maybe by a day or a half a day. That's where those efficiencies would come from.
You could probably also reduce some overtime potentially too.
Possible.
Yeah, another big efficiency here would be if you have someone that's on a vacation or sick from the sewer or street crews, this person could fill in on the street or sewer crews if they have time and help them finish up a pour or or do some work there, they'd have an extra hand if they were shorthanded. Whereas right now, the custodian doesn't, it's not an operator, so he can't do that.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Barb or Philip from council?
Well, and to answer the original question, the funds will come from the general fund, correct?
No, they will come from the road use tax fund.
From where?
The road use tax fund,
Road use.
Yes.
Thank you.
that entire department is housed in there.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness?
Yes.
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barb.
Resolution number 210, 2025, establishing policy related to process and procedures for requesting proclamations of the mayor and the city of Ottumwa. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 210, 2025.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
Move to approve.
Second.
Phil, I believe you're going to handle this.
Yeah. So after much discussion on the topic and carrying the previous resolution on the table for a few months, it was decided by city council members to have the process and procedure again reviewed to reflect the current process of having the mayor review and issue proclamations according to guidelines set forth with the attached policy. Proclamations would not require city council approval, but could be presented at a meeting should the requester wish to receive in that location at that time. The included resolution defines the process for requesting the proclamations through the city of Ottumwa, Iowa.
Does council have any questions for Phil?
I want to add in just my 2 cents is I still talk to many people, so I'm not going to speak for 30 minutes. I think everybody knows where I stand. So I still believe the public wanted council to have some input. Again, it's nothing against mayors or trust or anything like that. It was just what the public asked. So I'm still for council having input, but that is by no means a shot at the mayors or the outgoing mayor and incoming mayor, not old and new. So.
Any other comments or questions from council? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
No.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness?
Yes.
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Resolution number 211, 2025, approving the contract for Community Development Block Grant Administration Assistance between the City of Ottumwa and Area 15 Regional Planning Commission and authorizing the mayor to sign the contract. It's known as CDBG Contract 25 WS 30. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 211, 2025.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
And our Public Works Director, Philip Bergmeyer, is going to handle this.
All right, thank you, Mayor. So in January, the city entered into a contract with Area 15 Regional Planning Commission to perform an environmental review and also assist the city in preparing and submitting a CDBG grant for a sewer lining project. The grant writing service was rendered at the time, but they were only to be reimbursed if the application was successful. Well, we've been informed that the grant was successful and the city has been awarded $491,000 of funds by the Iowa Economic Development Authority. This contract reimburses Area 15 for those grant writing services they previously provided and will also include grant administration during the life of the grant. Compensation for these services is not to exceed $40,000. And this project will help us line about 13,000 feet of sewer, what the plan is, which will be this isn't to award the contract for services, it's to award the contract for the grant administration, so.
Does council have any questions for Philip?
How soon is that money available? How does that?
We have to, the next resolution, we have to adopt a whole list of policies
Right.
and then have the mayor sign it. So it'll be available, I think, around January 1st, is when it'll finally be available to us.
Any other questions or comments for Philip? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness?
Yes.
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Resolution number 212, 2025, approving the policies required by the Community Development Block Grant CDBG Contract 25 WS 30. Recommendation: pass and adopt resolution number 212, 2025.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
Move to approve.
Second.
Philip, I believe you're going to handle this one as well.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So when you get federal funds, there's all kinds of strings attached, and this is something that Area 15 already helped us out with. There's 9 different policies we have to adopt in order to receive these funds. I'm just going to list them off for you. There's an affirmative fair housing policy, CDBG procurement policies and procedures, a certificate of compliance with the CDBG procurement standards, a certificate of procurement compliance, a code of conduct, an equal opportunity policy statement, a residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan, a policy on the prohibition of the excessive use of force, and acknowledgement of environmental review requirements. And Area 15 helped us get all these policies adopted. They're all listed on here. This is just authorizing the mayor to sign all these so we can move forward with the grant.
How much of this is new? I mean, you guys already have policies that you would use in projects?
I've never done a CDBG grant before, so as far as I know, these are all new to us. Is that?
What I will say is that, wow, that's loud, that our current purchase policy complies with federal regulations, but we still have to adopt the separate policy. In previous communities that I served, you have to adopt all of these policies in order to get the CDBG.
It's worth doing though if they're going to give you $491,000.
I guess.
Any other questions from council for Philip regarding these policies? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness?
Yes.
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Resolution number 213, 2025, accepting the work as final and complete for the South Market Street Gateway Project. Recommendation: pass and adopt resolution number 213, 2025.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, and I believe, Philip, you're going to handle this one as well.
Yep, thank you, Mayor. So this is for the Market Street landing sign that's over the top of Market Street at the end of the bridge. The project's installed 2 columns and an over-the-road truss / signage assembly with lighting. Columns are comprised of concrete footings with a CMU core walls and brick and cast stone veneers. And there's a cast stone cap on it as well. There's internal steel columns to support all the trusses. And the tile art, this says it was installed as a separate project, but we change ordered it into this project. So one of the change orders on there is to install the tile art. The trusses are about 10.5 feet tall and they span the entire 70 feet across the Market Street Bridge at a minimum height of 16.5 feet above the road, which is more than a legal load. So any legal load won't hit that. And any oversized load has to go through our office to get approved route. So we have that on our list of overhead obstructions. This gateway is located at the north end of the Market Street Bridge. Christner Contracting of Ottumwa has completed the projects and work according to the plans and specifications. This will authorize final payment in the amount of $19,132.90 to Christner Contracting of Ottumwa, Iowa, and will release all retainage. So the original contract amount was $358,473. With the change orders on here, the final contract amount came to $382,656.21. And this is all being reimbursed by Legacy. It's not coming out of tax funds. So,
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you mentioned that because it's a legacy project. They're paying for it.
correct.
But the city did the contracting with Christner,
Yeah, and we inspected the
but
projects.
it's legacy money.
Correct. The construction money is Legacy. We paid for labor to inspect it. That's all we paid for.
And does this come back to my question about that sign being lighted?
Yeah, there's uplighting on the lettering for it. And I believe there's lights on the columns as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for Philip? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness?
Yes.
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Resolution number 214, 2025, establishing a fire department fee schedule. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 214, 2025.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
I believe Fire Chief Canto is going to handle this.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, Administrator Rath. Under City Ordinance, Chapter 14, Fire Prevention and Protection, subsection 14-3, Fire Service Fees, City Council by resolution may set charges for providing fire suppression and fire inspections, permits, and responding to motor vehicle crashes, smoke complaints, false alarms, rescues, and other emergency services within the city. In the fee setting process, the fire department considered applicable laws and statutes, as well as the cost of providing these services. This evening, I am requesting City Council adopt by resolution the fire department fee schedule before you. Fire department fee schedules and structures are important because they help ensure and equip a quick response that is effective. Fire departments face significant and ongoing costs and challenges, from maintaining vehicles, life-saving equipment, to training personnel and upgrading facilities. A well-designed fee structure provides a predictable revenue stream that supports these critical infrastructure within the community, where taxes alone may not cover the growing demands placed on emergency services. Additionally, fee structures help distribute costs more fairly among those who benefit from specific services. For example, inspections, permits, false alarm responses, and specialized rescue operations also often require substantial time and resources. By charging fees for these activities, fire departments avoid placing the entire financial burden on the general taxpayer. This approach not only promotes equality, but also encourages responsible behavior, such as maintaining fire and life safety codes. This evening, I request City Council approve this schedule by the resolution. Thank you.
So a question that I had, has the fire department had any of these type of fees in the past, or is this all brand new?
We have had some fees in relation to doing the liquor license inspections, but we have not in the time gone out and performed fire prevention and fire inspections. For example, fire inspections, if you look at properties, for example, that have been affected by fire, 40% of businesses do not reopen after a fire. And according to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, another 25% fail within 1 year. And the Small Business Association suggests that as many as 90% of small businesses not be in business after 2 years of a fire. And for example, we had a downtown fire that affected several properties. So this inspection process that we'll be doing will help us make sure we have safe buildings within the city of Ottumwa.
Does the council have any questions for Fire Chief Canto? We do have one individual that also wants to speak on this.
Oh, we'll go ahead and let the individual speak and I'll go after.
So
Well,
I just,
I'm
can't hear
sorry.
you.
I actually can see the need. I just had a question about if it's just walk me through a citizen structure fire. A citizen has a structure fire, no fault of their own. Is there a fee associated with that?
There is not. However, if they would say, for example, have an illegal drug grow operation, they would then be responsible.
Yes, I agree with that. And as I go through this,
But a normal structure fire, there is not. It would be something as related to a motor vehicle crash, where that was also in here. If a individual is cited for breaking of an ordinance or breaking of a vehicle traffic law, and they cause an accident, they would then be responsible for the reimbursement of the services because they broke the law. It's the same thing as responding to, for example, a vehicle accident where you have somebody that was under the influence. You again would then be billing that party because they were under the influence that created that accident. So structure fires, for example, unless somebody would be doing something illegal, they would not be getting billed.
Right. Yeah. And you know what? I could even see that. And I just wanted to, so basically if people who are at fault, and then if people who aren't at fault who occur a fee, doesn't some of their insurance take up those fees too?
The insurance, you can submit that request, that bill to the insurance company. Most insurance companies have riders that are directly associated with those types of services.
Right. Yeah. So I guess I support that. I see where he's going. So.
Chief, are these residential fees as well as commercial or commercial?
They are
only?
not residential. We do not have the authority to inspect single-family residential properties. However, we would be inspecting the common areas of multi-family apartment buildings because we wouldn't be entering into the living area, for example, but we would be inspecting the common area, the exits, heating, laundry rooms that are a common area within those facilities.
Well, I can see some good in what you've presented here, but I almost feel like it should have come before a special meeting where the public is welcome to sit in on it as well. I'm not in favor of just giving you a blanket authorization for this recommendation tonight.
I had one more. Are you done? Are you done? I didn't want to interrupt you.
Sure, go right ahead. I don't want to interrupt you.
The only other question I had is, and I know when I researched this and, being a fireman previously myself, and I would support this too, if it's somebody that's not from the city or not from the county, can they be charged for like a vehicle accident, or can we charge their insurance because they don't pay taxes here?
It would come back to, for example, I think take something like an act of God. A deer runs out in front of somebody's vehicle and they hit the deer, which causes the accident, and the fire department responds. They would not be billed for something like an act of God. But for example, if
they crash at a stop sign, they're not from the county, it's their fault, they can be charged.
Well, I think that goes back to what the police department, if they cite them with something. The previous city that I worked for, we had like the act of God. But for example, if a person was doing 130 down 2nd Street and they crash and create an incident, yes, they certainly would be billed in county or out of county because they were driving recklessly, and they would be cited by the police department for excessive speed, reckless driving, endangerment, or whatever that would go along with that.
Any other questions for Fire Chief Canto?
I just have a quick one. So false alarms. So if like a child were to call 911 and you all went out? No. Okay. I'm just thinking of things my kid did when she was younger.
So false alarms, and I believe the police department has that with burglar alarms, is what is truly considered a false alarm. So a false alarm a lot of the time happens because people do not properly maintain their fire alarm systems. If a person opens up their bathroom door and steam comes out of the bathroom and activates their home fire alarm, that is not a false alarm. The alarm did not malfunction. The alarm did exactly what it was supposed to do. If a person was cooking in their kitchen and burnt something on the stove and the alarm went off, the alarm did exactly what it was supposed to do. That is not a false alarm or an alarm malfunction. Where you're seeing false alarms and alarm malfunctions is a lot of times in commercial properties and even residential, where people don't upkeep their alarm systems. They're not having them maintained. They're not having them repaired. They're having issues with certain detectors within their facility, and they usually end up putting their system into trouble, which is telling you that there's something wrong within the system, but it still can activate a fire alarm. So here's a takeaway from some of those nuisance alarms.
Sorry, I have one more question. The lift assist, can you walk us through that?
So what you find with lift assist, I just want to pull that section up here real quick, is a lot of time assisted living or skilled nursing facilities, they instead of paying for staff to be on scene to actually perform the lift, they're utilizing public services to manage their liability, I think is the best way to put it. So we will go there. They'll say the person is not hurt. They just need to be lifted. And at those facilities, we'll say, well, why don't you lift them up? They'll say, well, we're not allowed. When they have people there that are perfectly capable of lifting them up. But again, it's a facility decision not to have people there that have been trained in lifting because they don't want to have that liability. In fact, today we made a lift assist and we canceled the med unit because it was just helping a person back up. So that's facilities. Residential homes where you see the lift issue is where, and I think this comes down to more health and human services families, where you're having people that should no longer be living alone. And they're calling on a daily basis, if not multiple times a day, because they continue to fall. But there's nothing being done about helping them through health and family services, through their families. There basically is what you would consider a mega user. You could start looking at how many times people are actually utilizing the services within the city. Again, department I work for, we had an individual who would call us 5 times a day for a lift assist, be it helping them up from their chair to go to the bathroom, back to the chair, out of bed in the morning, into the bathtub. And their family was not helping them in any manner whatsoever. And there was also comes a point where this is not on the fire department ability, but at that point, should that person have some kind of assisted care? There should be an assisted living facility. But they're, again, family isn't assisting them, and they're taking resources that from the fire department where, we're kind of, again, managing that liability.
Some of those situations probably should be referred to Department of Human Services for dependent adult investigations too.
Absolutely, we do that.
And I know that's something that's been talked about for at least the last 4 years, is looking at the lift assist fee too.
Any other questions for Fire Chief Canto?
This is not unusual. If you search around state of Iowa, if you search around the country, this process, these fees, you'll find some that are even more expensive in the square footage. This here is a pretty good, in my opinion, pretty good resolution.
How are you going to, like, with the lift, if this is approved tonight with the lift assist, how are you going to ensure that, like, people are aware of that, or just the fees in general?
So there's a lot of things we're going to have to address to start letting people know. For example, food trucks. We're going to work on making up a pamphlet. If a food truck is in the city, the first time we're going to give them a pamphlet, letting them know that their food truck needs to be inspected by the fire department. If they're then back into the city, they're going to have to pay for getting that food truck. Same thing with lift assist. If we go to a facility, we're going to let them know the first couple times before we actually start enforcement, because we have to make that education part of it.
Thank you.
I can make a page to that, all the numbers and stuff.
I think all of that is important.
Okay, at this time, our incoming Mayor Ben Foote would like to speak on this topic.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Johnson. So yeah, as I was going through this, first I want to thank Chief Canto for putting this together. This is pretty comprehensive. It took me more than an hour to go through it. So I would just say a lot of the things in here I would totally agree with, and that's all what you guys have talked about. Some of the other things that I would caution you on, one would be, and I'm looking at this from the architectural standpoint, there's a lot of plan review and fees and fire alarm and fire sprinkler fees that are involved in this. That would be charged to a contractor or an owner of a business in order for them to come in and do inspections on fire alarm and fire sprinklers. That ends up being a fee that has to happen, because any business has to have a fire alarm, and most, if not all, businesses need or have to have a fire sprinkler. They all should have them. I'll put it that way. In the city of Ottumwa, you'll know we have lots of buildings that are getting renovated and remodeled that are older. And with that comes other exceptions to the code and interpretation. And that's where a plan review with the fire department is real essential as an architect, a contractor, a building owner, so that they can make sure that they're making they're making the right decisions as they move forward with their renovation plans. And in here, it asks for a plan review fee, and then another one, and then another one. So what this is doing is discouraging people to come to the fire department with their plan early on in order to have them part of the design process. If I'm looking at this now as an architect, I would be recommending to the client that we don't do any preliminary review. We do it all in-house, and then at the end, we just hope that we got it right. I would much rather go to the fire department, to the building inspections, and bring them on in the process early so that they can be part of the design process, and then the client would know how much this is going to cost me in the end. Can we make design decisions now instead of finishing up with the construction documents and then having to have those decisions cost them more money? So, like I said, a lot of this is really good. I would caution you just doing a blanket statement and maybe rework some of the wording in here, just to make sure that we're not causing a long-term problem down the road. So, and I'll answer questions too if you.
Does council have any questions for Mayor-elect Foot?
My only question is not for anybody particular, but, how much of an extra burden is this putting on new business, small business?
Well, actually, I'd like to discuss some of the comments. One is the fire inspections. That is the annual fire inspection. The reason that you have the re-inspection fees. So we go to, for example, McDonald's. They're a big culprit of some issues. You go to McDonald's. When you go to McDonald's, you identify that their hood system is not up to date. It hasn't been inspected. Their fire extinguishers are not, haven't been inspected. You might find one that's empty and their exit lights aren't working. What you end up doing is that you write them the issues that you found during their inspection. So this is an annual inspection. You find the issues that were there, and you will tell them you will be back within a certain period of time to find out if those those issues have been resolved. The re-inspection, the first re-inspection is free. So if you go back to McDonald's and you find out they have fixed everything, you will sign off their inspection. You will give them their inspection form. They would turn that into their insurance and showing that they've passed their fire inspection. However, if you would go back and the same issues are still there, that they were not done, you would tell them, I'm going to be back in another 15 days. These things need to be resolved. And then they would have a re-inspection fee because now you're having to come back a second time. If you go back a third time, you would have a third time re-inspection fee. The sprinkler equipment review, inspection, and acceptance test is when we get notified that, for example, Jimmy John's, Jersey Mike's, when they open, the fire marshal has to go out and be present for the kitchen hood fire suppression system acceptance. That's where they put air in the system, it blows out all the nozzles, and it shows that that system is up and working. Same thing with the acceptance and inspection for a sprinkler system and or an alarm system and standpipe system. Other fire protection systems that may not be covered in there could be, for example, if you have a auto body repair shop that has a CO2 extinguishing system, which is a little bit different than a sprinkler system or hood system, that would be covered under that. Plan reviews.
That's a notification process. Like you're notified.
We are notified that they want to do that. So correct. The plan reviews, it's a one-time fee of $150. So we work with them. There's things that the fire marshal actually does, our deputy chief, and he's here if you'd like to ask him some questions, making sure the hydrants are plotted correctly, making sure that streets are wide enough that we're able to pull our apparatus down and get the outriggers on the ladder truck, make sure it's proper turnaround. So it's a one-time fee of $150. It's not a continuous fee.
I think the confusion comes for the charge for each review, that word each, I think. So if that word each was taken out, I think that would clarify that a little bit.
Okay, we can do that. I can, the change for review by the fire department.
On your list of things, Chief, you start an annual inspection from 2,499 square feet to 100,000 square feet. And that runs starting at 250, 300, $350, $400, $450, $500, $550, $600, and $650
Correct.
annually.
Well, not annually. So again, this depends on the NFPA 1730, which establishes fire inspection frequency. Your frequency is determined by one of three things, or one of three ways. You're either a high hazard facility, a medium hazard facility, or a low hazard occupancy. So high, medium, or low occupancy. Under high hazard occupancies, they are inspected every year because they are a high hazard occupancy. That could be, for example, a movie theater. It could be that's where you're having people within the building. It could be something that's related to chemicals. It could be related to something, a business that does something with flammable liquids. That's a high hazard. A low hazard facility is inspected every 3 years, and a medium hazard facility is inspected every 2 years. So high hazards, we need to get in every year because of the hazard or the work that they're actually doing in there. A medium one, it's every 2 years, the frequency, and then a low hazard is every 3 years. So now if you would, for example, John Deere, come on up, David. I'll have our fire marshal give you some examples of our high, medium, and low facilities.
Would that be some good information, though, to incorporate into this resolution?
We're going to have, when we actually put the information out, the fire marshal has already established what those facilities are that go along with that.
Chief, in the list of things I just read, at the top, it says annual fire safety inspections. It doesn't say maybe, or if you're a low risk or high risk. It just says annual fire safety inspections.
Correct. So your fire safety inspection, that is the fee for the square footage. The interval in which your inspection would happen would be determined by a high, medium, or low risk occupancy.
Okay.
Would you like some more clarification on the high, low, medium risk? So we're looking at things that are like impactful to the community, whether they have like a large assembly like Bridgeview Center, or they have like volatile chemicals like John Deere plant. That'd be something critically significant to the city if something would happen to those. Some of your medium ones are not necessarily a significant risk, but they have either a large assembly or they're used frequently. Something's like churches and assembly places like that. Some of your lower frequency could just be simple day-to-day businesses that don't buy or sell alcohol, don't do things like that. But they just gives us an opportunity to actually get into the business and actually kind of take a look through them, which we're not doing right now.
So how would you rate John Deere as an example?
It's a critical facility for the city of
Okay,
Ottumwa.
and the bottling company out at the airport?
Would also be a critical facility.
Okay.
And some of those things because of the processes that they're doing, because some things are related with chemicals. The bottling plant may have ammonia out there. It's part of the chemical process. So that's also where it goes into the hazardous materials site specific, where we discuss that under hazardous chemical inventory reporting, right to know. It's a site specific, because we have businesses here within the city that have large amounts of chemicals. And if there was a release or an emergency or an involved in fire, would have significant effect to the community. And as part of that, they would be having a plan of response. Now, when you really think about the businesses that are larger, that are a high risk, they're bigger businesses. It may not necessarily, it's not going to be the person that repairs shoes. That's not and that's a low risk facility, which is only getting inspected every 3 years.
How would you rate Bridgeview?
Well, the Bridgeview it's a high occupancy building. And so you have points where you can have several hundred people inside of the building. The same would be with a movie theater. You would have several hundred people in a movie theater. So that would be a high risk building. When you had, for example, 10, 15 years ago in Massachusetts, or Rhode Island, Warwick, Rhode Island, they had a band in a bar, a small bar, that decided to use pyrotechnics during their concert. The bar was packed with hundreds of people. It was over its occupancy, and over 102 people died many being burned alive because of, now that's not a high occupancy. That's probably more of a medium occupancy because of what you can actually have in there. So what we're looking at is through the NFPA 1730, it addresses what is considered a high, medium, and low occupancy. High risk occupancies are inspected every year, mediums every 2, and lows every 3. The city has about 875-ish inspectable properties within the city. And what we would be doing in that inspection process is that obviously the high risk ones would be inspected every year. And then we'd have kind of a sprinkling of medium risk and low risk because of how they actually spin through the process of being every 2 years or every 3 years. So that's kind of how we'd be doing about 275, 300 inspections a year, I believe is what it was.
So to clarify, this is to help take the burden from, the citizens too, and say like, hey, if this is putting it, I mean, there's a happy medium of ensuring that we want businesses here to grow and stuff and to stay, but we're also trying to take kind of that financial burden from the city or from the citizens of our city too.
Correct. Is that you have a business, and again, a high risk business like John Deere, they're getting inspected every year. And these fees for, I know some of you said you have researched them, $650 is not a huge fee for John Deere. A low risk mom and pop business, they're getting inspected every 3 years. I think, let me grab my, right here it is. If they are less than 2,500 square feet, they're $250. So that's $75 every year that they'd be putting to the side. Now, also remember, once we start addressing some of the things that we find, as I said earlier, you're looking at businesses, the Sierra Grande downtown, that affected 4 or 5 businesses with that structure catching fire, plus residential properties that are above it. And what you end up seeing where the Small Business Association talks about businesses going out of business. If my business catches on fire, the Firestone tire place down here, people are now going to start going to another tire company. Those employees that are there are now going to have to start looking for other employment. The suppliers that were supplying them now might start supplying to somebody else. So when you actually have a fire, a disaster, that's something that affects a business, it actually has a very large roll down effect within the community. In a city such as Ottumwa, if you have a major fire at, say, Menards, now the building is sprinklered, and I have seen sprinkled buildings burn to the ground before. Where's the next closest store such as that to here? So what are going to happen to all the employees that work there? Now that people are going to have to travel to get there. Will that ever bring back a Menards? Now, like businesses like McDonald's, if their business catches on fire, they basically come in and they bulldoze the entire property and they build new. That's just pretty much their business model. So, this process is, as you said, Councilwoman, is to take away some of that burden on the taxpayer. And it's not a high cost when you really look at it.
I'm assuming from your description of things that a church that maybe has 150 people on a Sunday there, that can be a medium, and
it could be
inspected every couple of years,
every 2 years. So it outlines what that facility is, and we would let them know what they're, how they fall in. We're going to have information that goes with when we start that inspection process. We're going to put the information out through the city website, and we're going to have some of that detailed information so people understand how that falls into play. Because even in some of the churches, you have, for example, I found churches that have kitchens in them that don't have hoods. They'll have a kitchen in the basement, a stove that's doing something, and they may not have a fire alarm system, and they're frying something. And you have a church catch on fire. I've seen that happen as well. So again, these are things we want to address and find. I have walked through properties on Main Street, on 2nd Street, and I could tell you, and I know the building department does a good job and tries to get out, but we have businesses that if something happens, it's going to be devastating for them. It's going to be truly devastating.
When you do your inspections, if you feel there are things that you would recommend that they do to help defend their properties, is that a list of things you give them?
Well, so there's things that they must do under the International Fire Code and International Building Code. There are requirements that they must do. We're looking at the fire code side. The building department, obviously, when they kind of get out and they have a complaint, they're dealing with something like, for example, some bricks that are falling off the building. That's not within our purview. That's not what we would be handling. We're looking at the fire code side that goes along with exits, extension cords, things, aisleways. Do they have the proper aisleways? Do they have doors that are blocked? We're looking at that stuff in the process. But if somebody has some bricks that are loose from the building, that's more of a building department issue.
So you would notify all the businesses in Ottumwa of what their inspection periods are, what those costs might be?
So what we're going to do is we're going to start the process after the beginning of the year, in early spring. But we need to start this process first. We're going to let businesses know through mailing that, we're going to be starting a fire inspection process. We're going to let them know what and there's some businesses that we currently have in the books that I think you said might not even be here anymore. So this is also determining what businesses we have and what businesses we don't, because unfortunately the fire department did not have a good list of inspectable properties within the city. But we're going to let them know what their intervals their schedule is and when we'll be inspecting them.
Any other questions from council for Fire Chief Canto?
Well, but I want to point out that these aren't, when we talk about inspections and we talk about fees, I hope everybody knows these aren't just check the boxes so I can open a business kind of thing. They actually go and inspect and make the business safe. And the more that goes on, also, as a council, we did ask if there could be a way to generate some revenue, and he's found a way to generate some revenue. And Cole, will that revenue be used so that they could replace equipment and get different things? Does it go back to them?
That would be up to how the council wants to designate those funds. If they want them separate specifically for fire department activities, we could account for them separately. Otherwise, they would just go back into the general fund to help support all of the activities there, including the fire department.
Well, that just worries me a little bit because including the fire department means they don't get this much. But that's for another discussion. I get it.
But understand something that right now what it is we put a lot of money into the general fund.
Right. I get it.
That supports all of those activities. So anything that comes into there helps the bottom line.
Yeah, and that's the way I was looking at it, is anything they generate would help with their stuff. So yeah, we agreed. I think I just misunderstood.
And I just want to clarify, in plan reviews, we'll take out the word each review. So it's one. Thank you.
Any other questions for Fire Chief Canto?
Can I ask a question? Council lady, did you get an answer to that question?
Yeah, she wrote it down.
Okay.
And then Chief Canto had identified earlier that they could do that.
Okay, thank you.
So you're right. If I can ask a question of Chief Canto, I have one.
Sure.
So I would just wanted to be clear, because this will be a question I'm going to get. When you go in and you do your inspections, whether it be yearly, bi-yearly, every 3 years, if I understand you correct, then those existing buildings need to be brought up to current code? Or are they within the code that they were built? Does that make sense?
They're within the code that they were built.
Okay,
They don't have
good.
to be grandfathered into the current code.
Okay.
So they're as they stand.
Yeah, I'm good.
That was a good clarifying question.
Just clarify with the fees. I think this fee schedule is not, assuming, great if it did, it's not going to generate enough revenue for the fire department to operate on an annual basis. So it'll still be part of the overall operations.
No, I get it. I just want to make sure they were going to get some of it back for equipment, needed stuff. And
Correct.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, if there's no other questions from council, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness?
Yes,
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Thank you.
Resolution number 215, 2025, approving the annual budget for the Ottumwa Water Works Board of Trustees for calendar year 2026. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 215, 2025.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
Move the recommendation.
Second.
And I believe Tim Albert, the general manager for Ottumwa Water and Hydro, is going to present on this.
Good evening. The budget for 2026 is projected to have a deficit of $803,409. The majority of this deficit is from funding void repairs underneath the concrete down there at the hydro from fund balance. 2026 water sale revenue is projected with a 2.5% increase in January and a 2.5% increase in July from the projected water sales, which are projected to remain relatively flat. This increase is to offset inflation along with the beginning steps towards additional hydro and dam repairs. Operating expenses overall, they're projected to increase about 5% over last year. And we will have additional costs for labor, and we are doing a very large software rehab in the office. Debt service will remain relatively flat compared to previous years. As usual, capital projects dominate a lot of our budget. Next year, we have two major projects, one of them being down there on Wildwood from Albia Road to Finley, and then a short section on Mary Street in front of the school there, and then Plum. Likely budgets will require multiple rate increases to fund repairs down at the dam. Recently, we do have some additional good news. I guess just short review on a few things because people always are curious. Originally this year, we had budgeted that we were going to have to borrow money to completely rehab one of the turbines down at the hydro. We were able to find a contractor to make repairs, and rather than borrowing $4 million, we're going to be able to pay for that out of the fund balance, and ended up being in the 250 range. So $250,000 versus borrowing $4.4 million. Next year, when we look at the void repairs, when we undertook all of this task of what everything do we need down at the dam, the original projections on this were well in excess of $2.5 million to $3 million to do these repairs. Most recent estimates from our engineers are about $500,000 plus or minus 50%. So we should be able to do that. Ongoing, we were looking at, there's a hole in front of the dam that we thought was going to have to be completely filled in. Due to the currents that they see there and the evaluation that they did, it would require boulders 12 to 14 foot in diameter to hold in place. And so they're not recommending doing that anymore, just to fill these spot repairs. So that's going to end up saving a little more on the project. So that initial talk when we were talking about rehabbing everything at the dam, we've gotten a few big wins right away, which are definitely going to help. And that's going to ease up on the pressure that we had expected that rates were going to have to go up to support that. So.
And your fiscal year is a calendar year.
Yep, we're a calendar year.
Does council have any questions for Mr. Albert?
Tim, of the 3 turbines that exist down there, how many do we have operating now? And how many?
Currently, we have one. Control system got replaced on unit number 3, and there were a few components that have in excess of 6-month lead times to get. So those have been ordered. It is everything but a few devices are ready to go on that. Unit number 1 has been mothballed for over 10 years right now. And economically, it just doesn't make sense due to the flows that we have at this time. In future projects, it is planned for it to be rehabbed so that we have at least 2 going all the time as we start to do the rehabs on unit 2 and 3, 15 years from now. So.
I know I ask that question every time I come to a meeting, but I can never remember. The answers kind of vacillate from 1 week to, or one month to the next. So I understand things are not constant all the time. Thank you.
And if I could at least give a reminder, it is cold weather season, so protect your water meters. Make sure that you don't have open drafts in your basements. Make sure that the windows are closed up because no one wants frozen water pipes, and let alone it being the hassle. It also is costly. So I'd just like to remind everyone that protect your assets. So.
Any other questions for Tim? The only thing I guess I'd like to say is I just really appreciate how your department has worked with our Public Works Department on the sewer separation projects and street work, and you're trying to put in new water lines and stuff when they're redoing streets. And I think the partnership that you have developed with the city has been very, very instrumental in cutting cost and not turning around and have to tear up new streets down the road because a water line needs to be fixed. So I really appreciate, Tim, how you've tried to really coordinate working with our Public Works Department.
And we try. We had a water main break the other day in an intersection, and basically before we pour it back, we went ahead and, it caused enough street damage. We went ahead and replaced the pipe across that entire intersection before it had to be replaced. So we try to do that when we can. 155 miles of pipe. There's a lot of pipe in town to maintain. So.
Oh, you do a great job.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Tim.
If there's no other questions, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness?
Yes.
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
The next item on our agenda is where I ask if anybody in the audience would like to speak on any non-agenda items this evening. Okay. The next item is Mayor City Council report and/or communications to the general public. I don't have anything specific tonight. I probably will next council meeting. But does anybody have anything that they would like to announce or talk about briefly?
So I just have a few words, so I won't be at our next council meeting. And I just wanted to tell Councilperson McIntyre and Mayor Johnson, it's been an absolute honor serving with you these last 4 years. And I'm going to miss the both of you up here, but enjoy your Tuesday nights.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, also one other thing, Administrator Rath, I just want to follow up. Will you follow up with the Historic Preservation Committee and pass that information on with the trough? Or do we have, I don't know which council person's on here. Serves on that committee.
We don't have a council person currently on historic preservation.
Yeah, we can get the information to them.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have anything they'd like to say or announce? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn our city council meeting.
So moved.
Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness?
Yes.
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
We are adjourned, and thank you, everybody, for coming to our Ottumwa City Council meeting. Have safe travels back home.
You were the closest.